Hey, Bold and the beautiful fans, do we have an absolutely wild week of spoilers lined up for you, June 15th through the 19th, and I am telling you right now, this week has everything. We have got RJ turning on the charm and the rich boy lifestyle for Dylan while she is still nursing a bruised heart over Will. We have got Will caught between loyalty and love as he tries desperately to keep Hope's big secret from Elektra. We have got Steffy making promises to Brooke that may or may not hold up depending on what Hope decides to do. And I saved the biggest one for right here at the top, Sheila Carter is back. She is back, she has an agenda, and nobody at Forrester Creations or anywhere near it is going to be sleeping easy this week. It's me, and we are getting into every single spoiler for the week of June 15th through the 19th, including Brooke Logan absolutely losing her entire mind, Hope having some very serious second thoughts about her future, and a whole lot more drama you are not going to want to miss. But before we dive in, if you are not yet following us, please hit that subscribe button right now. You will thank yourself later. Okay, let's get into it. Monday, June 15th, Season 39, Episode 190 kicking off the week. Dylan and RJ's friendship is reaching a whole new level, and by new level I mean RJ has taken her back to his place and is pulling out all the stops. We are talking the full rich boy experience. The beach house that RJ basically just decided to claim for himself, because when you are a Forrester that is apparently just something you can do. And meanwhile, this is a girl who was literally living out of her car not that long ago. So you can imagine how all of this is landing for Dylan. The contrast is stark and RJ clearly knows it. Now here's my honest take on the situation. I actually think RJ is not great for Dylan right now. I think she is in a vulnerable place. She is still stinging from losing any real chance with Will, and RJ is swooping in with his beach house and his charm and his whole effortless Forrester thing. And it sounds like Dylan might be tempted to let things go further than they probably should on a first date. I really hope she pumps the brakes because this is such a classic setup. Heartbroken girl, wealthy guy, impressive digs. One thing leads to another. And the problem is we know RJ is still carrying a torch for Elektra. He has not let that go. So even if he genuinely likes Dylan, and maybe he does, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. She deserves someone who is fully present and fully in it for her. Not someone who is using her to fill a gap while he gets over someone else. Because here's where this gets really interesting. There is a real possibility that both Dylan and Elektra end up living in fancy beach houses with their Forrester Nepo babies. Which sounds glamorous until you remember that neither of these girls probably plan their lives this way, and both of them deserve way more than being someone's fallback option. Meanwhile, Will is absolutely struggling to keep the big secret from Elektra, and this picks up right where Friday left off. Elektra is pressing him hard. She can tell something is up and she wants answers. But Will knows exactly how much is riding on this. Katie made it crystal clear that the identity of Logan's new featured designer has to stay completely under wraps until the launch. This is a huge deal for the Logan brand, and one leak could blow the whole thing up. The secret, of course, is that Hope Logan is the designer behind the new collection that is about to debut over at the family business. Now if Will does crack and tells Elektra, even if he swears her to absolute secrecy, I am not sure Elektra can hold it. It really depends on what is happening at Forrester at any given moment and what she stands to gain or lose by knowing this information. Will clearly does not want to keep secrets from her. He is genuinely torn. He cares about her and keeping something this big feels wrong to him. But the loyalty to his mom and to what Katie is building over at Logan is real too. This is messy and I love it. Tuesday, June 16th, Season 39, Episode 191 on Tuesday, Zend Forrester is really worried about his future, and he goes to Carter Walton for some advice and probably some reassurance. Now, if you remember, Zend already had himself a little moment when Steffy first announced that hope for the future was being put on hold. He was frustrated, he was worried. He was convinced that all of the designs he had poured himself into for Hope's line were just going to sit in a drawer and never see the light of day. And honestly, his concern was valid. Zend is talented, and he has been grinding away on designs that have been in limbo because of everything happening with Hope personally. But here is where it gets a little more hopeful. With Eric Forrester's brand new couture line about to be unveiled, Carter may use this moment to reassure Zend. Maybe he tells him that hope for the future is going to come back the moment Eric's line launches, that the hold is temporary, and that yes, Zend's designs are absolutely going to walk the runway. That would be a huge relief. But here's the catch. Unless something shifts with Hope herself, unless she actually decides to come back and step back into her role at Forrester, Zen's relief could be very short-lived. Because a line without its namesake is not really the same thing. And Hope right now is not exactly rushing back. Also on Tuesday, Steffy makes a promise to Brooke, and I think this conversation happens right after Steffy has gone to check in on Hope over at the Logan offices, or wherever Hope is spending her leave of absence. Steffy probably comes back and tells Brooke, "Look, the plan is solid. The moment Eric's couture line launches, Hope for the future is back on. Guaranteed." Steffy is making Brooke a real promise here, not just a vague reassurance. Which means Brooke is going to hold her to it. And you know Brooke Logan. When she wants something for her daughter, she does not let up. Meanwhile, the energy over at Forrester Creations is genuinely buzzing this week because the countdown to Eric's couture launch is on and everyone is excited. This is a big moment for the Forrester brand after the whole situation with the line Eric did for Katie over at Logan, which, by the way, is still a sore subject for a lot of people in that building. But the pressure that Eric's launch creates is actually going to spill over onto the Logan side too, because it is going to put even more urgency on getting Hope's collection out into the world. The timing matters. The industry is watching. And everyone wants to make their moment count. Wednesday, June 17th, Season 39, Episode 192 Wednesday, is when things start to get really spicy. Steffy makes a last-minute offer that changes everything, and my read on this is that she goes directly to Hope, wherever she is, whatever she's doing, and essentially tells her the door is open. Eric's launch is locked in, the timing is perfect, and Hope can come back right now. End the leave of absence, pick up where she left off, and get her designs into production immediately. Steffy and Brooke would absolutely assume that Hope is going to jump at this. Why would she not? This is her line, her vision, her legacy at Forrester Creations. But here is the thing: if Hope hesitates, if she does not immediately say yes and throw herself back into it, that is going to set off alarm bells for Steffy. Because Steffy is sharp. She notices things. And a hesitation from Hope when she is being offered everything she supposedly wants. That is a red flag that Steffy is not going to ignore. This feeds directly into the spoiler that tells us Steffy goes to Brooke and admits she is starting to wonder if something is going on with Hope. Something Hope is actively hiding and does not want either of them to find out about. And that right there, that suspicion from Steffy, is what I think pushes Brooke over the edge. Because Brooke already knows something is off, and now Steffy is confirming it, and Brooke Logan does not sit quietly when she thinks her daughter is in trouble or being kept in the dark. But before we get to Brooke's breakdown, which we'll get to, do not worry, we have got a fantastic scene happening at the hospital in Taylor's office. Taylor and Deacon are having a genuinely sweet moment. They are canoodling, they are hugging, they are kissing, they are just in their little bubble of happiness. And then somebody barges in without knocking. Deacon is startled. Taylor actually screams. And given everything we know about what is happening this week, given the enormous spoiler that is looming over all of Wednesday, I am almost certain that the person walking through that door uninvited and unannounced is Sheila Carter. Because Sheila is back this week, people. And if you know Sheila's history with Taylor's office, the time she has barged in, the chaos she has brought, the damage she has done, then you know that walking into Taylor's space uninvited is very much on brand for her. Sheila being back immediately puts both Deacon and Taylor on edge, and they're both trying to figure out what she wants. What is her agenda? What does she need? And Taylor, who has never been fully sold on Deacon's reassurances that Sheila has genuinely changed, is not exactly rolling out a welcome mat here. This reunion is going to be tense and uncomfortable, and I am absolutely here for every second of it. Thursday, June 18th, Season 39, Episode 193 Thursday brings us a new development for Dylan. She finds out she has a new boss over at Forrester Creations. Up until now, she has been working under Daphne on the perfume line, but the dynamics are shifting. There are a few directions this could go. Maybe RJ pulls some strings, especially if things progress between them after Monday's date, and requests Dylan as his assistant on the men's line. That would create an interesting dynamic considering what may or may not be happening between them personally. Or, with Hope for the future apparently about to be revived, maybe they bring Dylan in on that line. Hope is going to need people around her who she can trust and who are genuinely enthusiastic about the brand, and Dylan could fit that role perfectly. There is also the option that Elektra pulls Dylan onto the jewelry line with her, since Elektra is essentially running that whole thing solo after Ivy Forrester got pushed out following her lies and scheming. Elektra could really use the help and Dylan could use the mentorship. Either way, Dylan is moving up in the Forrester world, and I think that is a good thing for her, even if her personal life is getting more complicated by the day. Also on Thursday, we're going to get more answers about Sheila. We should find out more about what her true motives are for coming back now, of all times. And we're going to get at least some clues about her mysterious roommate situation. Is it Remy? Is it Lee? Because someone is living with Sheila Carter, and I want to know who has made that particular life choice and why. This is going to be one of those situations where you are simultaneously fascinated and terrified as the layers get peeled back. Friday, June 19th, Season 39, Episode 194 Friday, and we end the week with Brooke Logan celebrating, or at least trying to. She's looking ahead to a bright future with Hope, and the way Brooke sees it, Steffy made the offer. The timing is perfect, and Hope is obviously going to come back and restart her line. In Brooke's mind, this is basically already done. Hope is going to come back to Forrester, the collection is going to launch, everything is going to be wonderful. Except Hope is not exactly cooperating with Brooke's vision of how this all goes. And that disconnect between what Brooke expects and what Hope is actually doing is what blows the whole thing open. Because this is the week that Brooke Logan loses her absolute mind and goes storming into Katie's office at Logan like a woman who has completely abandoned any sense of boundaries or professionalism. And I want to paint you a picture of the scene because it is incredible. Brooke bursts into Katie's office demanding to know right now on the spot who Katie's new designer is. She is not asking nicely. She is not making an appointment. She is not sending an email. She is just full-on barging in and demanding answers. And here's the best part. Hope is actually in the office. She ducks behind the screen, the one she apparently uses regularly to hide during meetings, which tells you something about how chaotic these Logan offices have gotten, and she is back there absolutely horrified, listening to her own mother completely unravel. Katie is standing there staring at her sister in shock, because even for Brooke, this is a lot. Brooke is ranting. She is demanding. She wants the name of the designer, and she wants it right now. Katie refuses. She is not giving it up. And then Brooke does something that genuinely made me laugh when I read it. She threatens to go through every single hallway of the Logan offices herself until she finds out who it is. Like she is going to investigate her way to the answer through sheer force of will and nosiness. Katie tells her she is being completely ridiculous. And Brooke fires back with, "And I love this. Try me. I dare you." Which is absolutely the energy of a third grader picking a fight with her big sister at the dinner table. It is unhinged, and it is hilarious, and I love Brooke Logan for it. But meanwhile, Hope is crouched behind that screen absolutely panicking. Katie knows she is there. So Katie keeps Brooke talking, keeps her distracted, long enough for Hope to creep out from behind the screen while Brooke's back is turned and slip out of the office completely undetected. And then once Hope is safely out, Katie delivers the perfect mic drop. She tells Brooke that if she wants to know who her designer is, she can find out tomorrow with everybody else at the launch. Just like a regular person. End of discussion. Now I do find myself hoping that Bill Spencer shows up and steps in here to physically remove Brooke from the Logan offices, because at some point someone needs to intervene. Maybe this is finally the moment they bring in some real security. Maybe they poached Charlie from Forrester while they are at it, because clearly someone needs to be keeping watch at the front door. And then we close out the week with a really intriguing business meeting. Shauna and Wyatt sit down with Bill and Liam to pitch a jewelry line concept, and it sounds like Shauna is ready to move fast and lock in a deal. She wants to know right then and there if they have a handshake. But Bill does not do anything on someone else's timeline. He tells them not so fast and makes it clear that he needs something from Wyatt before any deal gets signed. And obviously what Bill wants is the real Hope diamond, the actual one, not the fake that Wyatt showed Liam. So now the question is whether Wyatt can actually deliver the real thing. Because if he can, it sounds like Shauna and Wyatt are walking out of that meeting with a jewelry line deal at Logan, which would be a huge win for both of them and a really interesting new chapter for Shauna especially. What an absolutely massive week for Bold and the Beautiful, you all. Between Sheila's return, Brooke's full-on unraveling, Hope's secret getting closer and closer to blowing up, and Dylan figuring out where she actually belongs at Forrester. This show is giving us everything right now, and I am obsessed. Make sure you are following us wherever you listen to podcasts because we have got spoilers, recaps, and hot takes coming at you all week long. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and all the major platforms. Thank you so much for being a loyal part of this community, and we will see you in the next one. Do not miss it.